What's going on, everyone? It's your favorite minority from the loud majority, just touching base with the base. A couple things we're going to talk about today. Border again, because the border crisis is still a shit show. Doesn't look like it's going to get any better anytime soon. Um, the impeachment, they held an impeachment hearing today for Alejandro Mayorkas. He's pretty much abandoned his job. I mean, he's not doing his job. He's allowed the border to be wide open. National security is supposed to be your job, and you're allowing the border to be wide open, which is probably the biggest national security threat there is. I mean, they're allowing people to come through. They have no records of who these people are, what they've done before they got here, who they're who they're loyal to, what their affiliations are, anything. These people could be anybody, a part of any type of organizations out there that are anti-American, and they're just letting them come right in. So they held an impeachment hearing today for Alejandro Mayorkas. Um, we'll see how that goes. I guess. I mean, I'm not gonna get my hopes up on that, but I guess we'll see how that goes. If Biden was smart, he'd have him resign though, because it's just not good optics for Biden. I mean, the border crisis, they can't get away from it. They're trying their best. They've even tried to flip it on the Republicans at this point. I mean, come on. The last 5, 6 years, you've called Republicans racist for not wanting to allow people to come through, and now it's their fault. Come on, come on, ridiculous. Um, so far, there may be more now, but the last I checked, I think there was up to 26 states, 26 that have pledged to stand with Governor Abbott in Texas. Because Governor Abbott's not backing down at all. I mean, he's holding the line. At least that's what it's looking like. From what we're seeing, he's holding the line. He's not giving in to Biden. He's not. The deadline passed. Biden gave them a deadline that passed, and nothing really happened. He kind of called their bluff, and it kind of made them look a little weak. I mean, it's either the federal government is scary, man, but I mean, I don't think it's the end of it. I guess we're gonna see what happens next, and it may be very interesting. Um, we'll see. Ken Paxton denied Biden's unfounded request. Yeah, because okay, Biden requested. I can't go into detail on it. You know what? Let me see. I actually have the post where it talks about it. Exactly what they asked him for. Where are we? Here we go. So it says today I denied the Biden administration's unfounded request and issued counter demands. By February 15th, DHS must supply the official plat maps and deeds demonstrating the precise parcels to which they claim ownership. An explanation of how Texas is preventing access to those specific parcels, documentation showing that Eagle Pass or Texas ever granted permission for DHS to erect infrastructure that interferes with border security, and proof of Congress empowering DHS to turn a Texas park into an unofficial and illegal port of entry. If the federal government is going to make such claims, they must provide proof. Basically, he's just playing them. He's telling them to shove it, pretty much. I mean, like Biden is suing Texas. He's trying to write um laws. He's trying to. They're doing everything they can to basically tell Texas that you're not allowed to protect yourself. You're not allowed to protect yourself. We're the federal government. We've come in and we've decided that you are going to allow a bunch of illegal immigrants in, and that's it. You're not allowed to protect yourself. And if you try, we'll take legal action against you for legally trying to defend yourself. It literally just doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make sense. So then when you impeach Alejandro Mayorkas, the Democrats sit up there and they claim that the Republicans, this is all a stunt, this is a publicity stunt. It's just something for them to run their campaigns on. No, this is an actual crisis. You are not doing your job. You're not doing the job you were elected to do. In fact, you're putting up countermeasures to ensure that that job doesn't get done. So it isn't you just not doing your job. It's you fighting to not do your job. It's insane. And yet somehow it is the Republicans' fault. It's all the Republicans' fault. This is all they can do. This is all they have left at this point, in my opinion. Spin, 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 spin everything. Everything we do, when they call it out on us, just accuse the other side of it. Just accuse the other side for it. That's it. Say it's actually their fault. Let's see how that plays out. Because if you keep doing it, it gets crazy enough to the point where people actually start believing it. It's insane. It's insane. It's crazy. It's gotten so bad that Texas is literally asking people to come to the border, to come help, to come down. They're asking people to come down and come stand there, stand with, your fellow Texans and fight this illegal invasion. They're calling on citizens. You best believe in Texas, those people are. They're ready. They're coming. What? You want me to come down? Say no more. I'll be right there. They can't wait to go down to that border and defend it. Trust me. See, these people down in Texas and some of these border states, these Republicans and conservatives and some of these in these border states, they don't play that shit, man. They are dead serious about this. They are dead serious about this whole situation, and people are not taking them seriously. People are not taking them seriously. It's going to get to a point where they feel like if you don't want to take us seriously, as we peacefully and calmly, express our disdain for what's happening, eventually you're going to watch us get physical. And I don't mean like physical violence. I just mean physical as in they're going to get up and start to do things like this convoy. There's a trucker convoy, if I'm not mistaken, that's actually going to the border. So we'll see how interesting that gets. I see a lot of people like, oh, but January 6th, and I'm like, yeah, but you can't keep trying to scare the MAGA crowd into never organizing. You can't do that. Like, you can't keep trying to scare them. Like, oh, but January 6th, remember what happened on January 6th? Don't fall for okay. And hopefully nothing bad happens, but like you cannot keep trying to scare the MAGA crowd into just never organizing and just keeping the fight online and keeping the fight on social media. Like you can't do that. At some point, people are going to want to get up and get out and express this emotion in person in large numbers and large demonstrations. So that way our government understands we're not fucking around. Okay. Because as of right now, they see, the online movement is big, it's major, but it's constantly being, the online movement is constantly badgering people that actually want to do things in real life. And that's not cool. That's not cool. If people want to organize in real life, they should be able to do so. We shouldn't be telling, fellow MAGA supporters and fellow, America First, groups, oh no, don't do that. Don't organize. Don't go in large numbers. Because, January 6th, just stay at home and stay on your computer. Like for me, that's like very counterproductive. It's like, are you sure you're really down for the cause, or are you just trying to get people to stay at home? Who do you really work for? There's so many of these people online. They call you a fed every time you talk about organizing. They say fed, fed, fed. No, you're the fed. You're probably actually a fed, and you just don't want people to organize because you're scared if people do organize. Don't fall for that shit, man. If people want to organize, let them organize. Period. What else we got? I think I think I got another reference post for that. You know what? No, I don't. Don't worry about it. All right. So also reports of Chinese and Middle Eastern men that are physically fit coming over the California I'm sorry, San Diego border. Check this out. This was just sent to me by one of my contacts in East County, San Diego, near Jacomba on the border of Mexico and California. Some gnarly Middle Eastern and Chinese fit men come over in waves of 7. They look at everyone really mean. They won't have an issue. And no, they won't have an issue. They aren't even hiding it anymore. Pass along to anyone you think it might be relevant to. This is getting bad. Let's see what else. See, here's a couple pictures. If the mainstream media refuses to acknowledge that we are under invasion, we will be the guerrilla/citizen journalist that America needs right now. For anyone who is able to record clear videos with timestamp/date and specific location or clear photograph images of the invasion, I will keep you anonymous and share the footage until the feet of those complicit in this are held to the fire and security is restored. Send all leads to border.rootedwings@protonmail.com. So if anybody out there, well, you you're near the border or anything like that, you got any footage or any anything that people might need to see or know, make sure you send it to this person here. I'm sorry, this email. What else we got in there? I think there's a couple more. This one, there was another picture. So yeah, so we got more pictures here. And I think there's also a video that I captured, I got earlier, not captured, but that I found that shows the men. And this is the video of the men here. So not too physically fit, but I mean, listen, looks can be deceiving, right? Not too physically fit. That one guy right there, I think I could take him. But don't let size fool you. I mean, these men are coming from somewhere specifically, and it isn't from directly right across the border. They're coming from somewhere far, getting to Mexico, and then coming across the border. They're coming from Asia. They're coming from China. Why? For what? What are they coming here for? Makes you wonder. Barely any women. I think I've only seen probably like a few women. These are all mostly men. No children. Interesting. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. No women, no children, just a lot of men. If I was going to war, I'd leave my women and children at home. I wouldn't bring them with me. That's just the way I see things. I would not be bringing my child with me or my wife. But I don't know. And then they like to say that the term military age man is like a dog whistle. It's a dog whistle for racism. And it's like, no, they're men of military age. They're very capable. I'm pretty sure that they got here. So clearly these men are very capable. Oh, yeah, crazy. Anyway, moving on. Chicago alderman complains about vouchers for migrants. Ooh, let's take a look at this one. Let's take a look at this one. See, this is what happens when, as a community, you're brainwashed into thinking that because you're oppressed, that you have to help every other oppressed person, or you have to come to the rescue and the aid of other people that may be oppressed, or dealing with some sort of unfair treatment, which is very, very impossible to do when you don't have your own two legs to stand on, right? And well, some of these people in Chicago are learning that the hard way. Now, I've said this before. If you give me free meals, housing, child care, education, a voucher for $9,000, you know what? I come to Chicago too. And that's what they're doing. They're
telling people, and they're sending money back to Chicago, back to Venezuela, to come to Chicago because they're saying, hey, if this time's rolling now, they're taking care of everybody.
Wow.
Now, when we have Venezuelans that are driving cars, where they get a driver's license?
That's funny because the left likes to swear up and down that black people can't get IDs to vote. They're getting them from off the streets. They're getting them in Democrat-ran neighborhoods. Where you're from, the people who support these people they're coming to your neighborhoods. What do you think they're going to do when they get there? I've said this already. Said it already. Look at the comments. Trump would have never let this happen. But this is what the black community gets, man. Honestly, like, this is what we get for always just going along with what one side tells us. This is what we get. Because now look, which is crazy because most of the community probably voted for it. So you're stuck with it until you make a better choice next election, during the next election, which they probably won't. They probably make the same mistake. I'm hoping they won't. I'm hoping they'll wake up and realize the mistake that they've made, and they'll see that where their problem lies is from trying the same thing over and over. The definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. That's the definition of insanity. So you can't if you've been voting the same way your whole life and your community has been controlled by one party for your entire life, and in that entire lifespan, your community has been in shambles. That party is failing your community. Give the other one a chance. Give it a chance. Give it a try. Republicans. It's not like Republicans don't run in these black communities and in these poor neighborhoods. They do. They run in these neighborhoods. They just don't get elected because in those communities they vote one way. In our communities, we vote one way. Definition of insanity, man. Trying the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. It's never going to happen. Now, I said this before and I'll say it again because I said this in the last episode, but I'll say it again. There are people who believe that the governor, Greg Abbott of Texas, is not actually doing his job to protect the border. That if you were to look a little deeper and look a little further into the matter, you'd realize that he's actually allowing a lot of this to happen. Yeah, he's great. He's doing a lot of what he's standing up to Biden. He's called on the National Guard and things like that. But there's videos that show that there's parts of the border still wide open where there are no guards. Nobody there to stop anybody from coming through. And there's no cameras or anything in that particular location. There's no cameras there. So it raises the question, who's actually gaining from this? And this is the video that I was talking about actually right here. I want you to watch this video and you tell me, what do you think?
There's armed guards, pretty intimidating, right? There's your razor wire in between the two bridges that are the entrances into Mexico. and also the ones that you get fast. There's some hunters, some more guys, right? We're protecting, we're keeping them.
Now, as they're riding along, you see that it doesn't seem as if there's any more security. It looks like they're getting further and further down the road where there's probably nobody there. Away from where all the cameras and all the big commotion is, where all the guards and National Guard and all that. He's gonna show you that there's another opening. And they're just getting you riled up.
Where are the armed guards?
Interesting. Interesting.
Where is the razor wire? Where's the gates? That's half a mile from where the media is blowing up that Texas versus the feds, that we're having this big battle. So that, oh yeah.
So there's people that think this is all a show, and that Governor Abbott isn't actually doing shit. Who knows? Maybe we'll learn one day the actual truth about what's really going on and who's actually fighting to keep the border closed and who isn't. But it does raise questions because, like I said in the last episode, I raised my own questions. Why did it take you so long to do the things that you're doing? Why did you ship thousands of people into the country that are now in the country are going to be very hard to remove, very hard to track down and find when it's time to? As a publicity stunt, for that you could have called the National Guard in immediately and never allowed any of this to happen, never allowed any of them to get in the first place. And then when we see videos like that, it makes me raise more questions about who's really in on it and who isn't. And this is where conspiracy theorists, get vindicated, is where people who don't believe in these type of conspiracies, that there aren't people who are double agents and, like I said, like Governor Abbott, to the common eye, he's fighting hard to save the border. But when you watch a video like that, it makes you think, is he really? What else is going on here? We all know politics is a dirty, crooked game. So what else could be going on here? You know what I mean? It just raises questions. That's all. It raises enough questions, if you ask me. It raises more than enough questions. The way my brain operates, this post makes the most sense to me. Everything starts to make sense when you realize that the destruction of the United States is not due to incompetence. It's intentional. They want our border open. They want our cities consumed by crime. They want our economy to fail. They want to destroy the nuclear family. They want pandemics and forced vaccination. They want insecure elections. They want harmful drugs on our streets. They want to sexualize our fucking children. They want us to be poor. They want us to be uninformed, and not only uninformed, but misinformed. They want to destroy our way of life for their benefit. We are at war. That's true. That's true. This shit is all by design. Nothing that you see happening is happening because there's not control of it. No. There is. A lot of this can easily be stopped. Easily. The economy could easily be fixed. The border could easily be closed. These people are doing the things they're doing to us on purpose. Okay? We are being made to suffer. I don't know where the higher order came from or who told them that it was time for them to do these things to us. But that's what's happening. And it's intentional. And it's never been more fucking obvious, man. It's never been more obvious. The more that they jump on TV and tell us that Trump is the reason for all our problems, the more obvious it becomes that it's them, the people that have been in Washington, D.C. for 40, 50 years, not Trump, who was there for 4 years. They want you to believe that a man that was in Washington, D.C. for 4 years is the source of all your fucking problems in the world. Meanwhile, the people that have been in D.C. for the past 40, 50 years, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, I could go on. The people that have been writing policy, writing these laws that continuously fuck us over, they want us to trust them? You want me to trust you over a man who was in the White House for 4 years? And let's just be honest, he did better than the guy that's in office right now. Let's just be honest.